Hello everybody out there in the internet world, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. This is officially episode number 346. Why are you looking at me like that? It's 346. Yeah. I do the math. I know my episodes. And that means there's only 4 more episodes left until the Dark Avenger comic book review show moves to Comic Frontline. So yeah. I'm excited.
I know, we're both of us
big
excited.
Celebration, maybe. Maybe we'll do a big celebration. Who knows?
Halfway mark to 400.
Why not?
See, why not? Yeah.
Why not? We got a couple ideas that we already threw out there, so why not? Anyway, till then, though, the books in this review are released on
June 15th, 2016. And we're going to start with digitals. First,
honorable mention. Honorable mention goes to Back to the Future, Citizen Brown, issue number 2. If you played the Telltale game, you know where this story is going. This story is basically Marty preventing himself from being erased from time because he screwed around with his grandfather, and basically he had to go back in time to change it. And then the book ends right where, because he went back and fixed things with his grandfather, apparently he didn't fix them the right way, and also Doc got screwed up also a little bit in the translation. If you didn't play the Telltale game and you would like to read the story, I would definitely recommend it, because the story for the Telltale game was really good. Personally, I'd love to get the Telltale game, and hopefully at some point we will. But for right now, we don't have it, so it's nice to have at least a comic book version of it. I'm enjoying it. I know where it's going, but for people who didn't play the game, you won't. So I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Klaus issue number 6.
So Klaus gets caught finally in this issue, the penultimate issue. The demon gets released. Klaus is trapped. The girl that he loves and her son are in grave danger. All the citizens of the town are now in danger. And at the end of the book, Klaus gets freed and given a special power to be concluded. I am really excited to see how this all ends.
Alright, now it's my books now. This is a new book that was recommended to us from a
It was actually sent to us by the creator. It didn't come out this week.
No, it came out.
It came out a while ago.
Yeah.
But he sent us the book, and we read it, and I really enjoyed it. And the book is
Worst Day Ever, issue number 1.
This there will be a link in the description below connected to the website where this comic book is from if you're interested in it after hearing the story. I really enjoyed it. I'm just going to give a briefie because you're reviewing it. I really enjoyed the story. I liked the artwork in the book as well, but I knew Michael would like it also, so Michael actually took the, instead of, like I said, we got 2 books. So we basically said Mike was going to get this book, I was going to get the other book. Unfortunately, the other book was a book we're not even going to mention on this show because it is something that is completely not ever something we'd read. So Michael's the lucky one that actually his book is in the review. But I did read this book, and I definitely enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, so this book talks about Charles, who works at this place called Bob's Burgers. Mm-hmm. And there's like a big zombie apocalypse that's going on.
That's why I liked it. Mm-hmm.
And I like how he does his job, but then they're like saying, you know, just be careful out there because, you know, there could be zombies that are coming out there because he's usually sometimes late for work because there's like so many errands that he's doing. But I like his character, though. It's like really, really interesting. And he also has a friend called Hillbilly. And Hillbilly's saying like, hey, there's this apartment that I found, so, you know, we should go check it out and stuff like that. So they go check out the apartment with, of course, the zombies that are, you know, in the way of going there, but they get rid of that. And in the apartment, lo and behold, it belonged to somebody else. And like saying, you two, you're on our turf now. And then there was like a whole argument going on. But after the whole argument was going on, a whole herd of zombies right after them.
Nice.
And that's where it left off to be continued. There was a lot of other stuff, but I want you guys to definitely read it. I like Charles's character. He's like really someone you'd like to hang out with. Even Hillbilly's another great character.
So again, the link for the site will be in the description. I had his name is Bill. Send me the link to his site. So hopefully I will check the link tonight, make sure it works, and it will be in the description below. If you're interested in getting this book or checking out the website, it'll be there.
And both of us gladly appreciate
your
support for watching us and sending us the book as your recommendation.
Yes,
awesome
definitely,
read.
thank you.
All right, now next book is Sonic Universe, issue number 86. This is the last part of Eggman's Dozen, part 404 actually. And basically in this one, it's Eggman versus Crystal Sonic, that's known as Metal Sonic, but since the Nugas twins took him in, it's now Crystal Sonic. And the only way that Eggman found out how to defeat him, I'm just going to give the shorter bridge version because I gave the long comic Frontline, is pure energy, which is the uniform that you saw on him. To defeat Crystal Sonic into Metal Sonic, that he transformed again. One of the Nugas twins got away, and Wendy now works with Dr. Eggman, and that was like a huge turn of events and everything, which was something I didn't expect to see happen. And then it just goes to what's going on now in Sonic the Hedgehog, and there's going to be a new story called Shattered, which I guess is gonna go for Master Shards or something like that. It's going to be a really interesting read because the Master Emerald was found from one of the Nugas that got away.
Nice.
So that's the only way they could fix the world and put it together. Alright, Escape from Monster Island, issue 5 of 6. One more issue left until we conclude that. And in this book, there are lots of twists that happen in this book. Like this other, one of the guys was named Charles also. Betrayed the team because there was the queen that wanted to find out more information about this blood sample and everything.
Keep on. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Fixing things.
And one of the professors died because someone that does all the morphing into the person, kind of like Mystique if you really think of it, she finds out more information, and there's just the whole thing is trying to find Cyclops, like the eye of the Cyclops, to get the blood and bring it back. And the thing is, they do find the Cyclops, or is it Triclops? The one with the one eye.
That's a Cyclops.
That is a Cyclops.
Triclops is 3 eyes.
Yeah, Tri is 3, yeah. So they do find the Cyclops, only the hand coming in, and that's where it's to be continued. So the last part's going to be a whole chaotic stuff going on there. I can't wait to see what happens after that. Hellchild, issue number 4 or 5. Also, one more issue left until we conclude that story. And what Hellchild is it's more about Hades turning, into a good guy, going to man, saying, I know I was outlined about my daughter because he was really worried about where she was going. And she has, like, this weird, like, her character gets darker and darker. And it's just like she's trying to find out, her objective is to kill Hades because she's under that mind control of that guy with this group of stuff like that. Also, Robin Hood appears a little bit in this issue, just like a briefie for stuff. And Liesel is just trying to find out about the vampires, where they are, because where Angelica is a group of vampires, and they're known to be a really bad influence to her and all that. But I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see how the last issue is going to conclude of that. Wrath of the Eternal Warrior, issue number 8. Now, the only thing I got from this book is that it was really back and forth. It's like him going back to his time, but then he winds up in the laboratory because he's used as an experiment to go through the labyrinth. Mm. And every single time he gets to the point mark where he has to move on, it goes back to the laboratory. And they experimented on him for the last 40 to 50 days. And that has to be like a nightmare because he's going crazy almost. But that's really all I got from the book. Next issue will probably he'll break out of it from what it looks like, but I feel really bad for his character. And now we're going into the big 2 books, starting with you again. Dark Knight Returns: The Last Crusade, issue number 1.
I enjoyed this. This is where before Batman retired this is basically Bruce as he's getting older. His Robin's Jason Todd right now, and Robin's noticing that Batman's starting to lose his step. Bruce is starting to get old. This is now beyond where Batman is now. Like, we're talking he's old. And you can see that he's not as spry as he was before Bruce. He had moments where he would struggle or he would get out of a situation and then he kind of collapsed. And Robin sees this, and Joker gets put back into Arkham. He's not as insane as he was before. Apparently he's a little bit smarter. And what happens is Jason Todd decides he's going to go out on his own and do something. And it looks like we're getting basically the death of Jason Todd, but in the Dark Knight Returns universe. Their version of Jason Todd's death. And it looks really interesting.
Nova issue number 8, Civil War 2 tie-in?
I enjoyed this issue. Okay, so basically, if you read issue 7 and then you go right to 8, you're going to notice there's a gap. You have to read all different Avengers. They are in space looking for helping Sam try to find his dad. This takes place apparently after, where they're back home now. They're called to aid. The Avengers are called into action. They save the day. They have this really huge after party. Sam completely doesn't feel like he belongs there. Like, he feels like he's like the outcast of the group because everybody has their own inside jokes or whatever, and he's not clicking. He goes home. His mom finally breaks down and says, I can't take it. I can't take the fact that you go out there and you don't know if you're coming back to you. I don't even know you know what you're doing. He's like, yes, Mom, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. And she's like, we'll talk more later. But basically, his mom's not happy. He goes back to school, and he tells his friends, hey, guys, I'm sorry I wasn't around. You know, I had a family thing I was doing this weekend. And they don't want to talk to him because they're like, yeah, a family thing. We all know they know that he's Nova. Sam goes home. The mother does, you know, he says, hey, Ma, this is a great meal. And she's like, thank you. And basically, Sam is alienated to no end. And he's trying to reach out to Iron Man. And Iron Man's busy because Civil War is going on. Because now this title is connected to Civil War, or taking place during Civil War time. And in the end, Mole Monster comes to the surface and now is pulling a Mole Man and trying to take over the surface world, to be continued. I feel really bad for Sam. He is literally alienated from everyone now because he's Nova.
That's really something.
Even the superheroes have him alienated, and that sucks.
Star Wars issue number 20.
We are back in the Kenobi files. So, I forgot who the Black Wookiee was. Do you remember who he was, Michael? Karazam, whatever.
Start with the letter K.
Yes.
Just call him the K,
Basically, Jabba the Hutt hires him as a bounty hunter to find Ben and the boy who stopped, you know, from the last chapter of the Kenobi's journal, where he stopped the smugglers who were bringing water to Jabba, and basically to assassinate them. He ends up taking Uncle Owen hostage, and Ben Kenobi shows up. He saves he tries to save Owen, and then he gets into the fight with the K Wookiee guy, and he says, I'm the one you're looking for. I'm the one Jabba sent you for. I'm the one that, you know, foiled his whatever. And a big fight between the two of them breaks out. Luke shows up to save his uncle at the last possible moment, and it just ended with the bounty hunter obviously escaping, or he gets knocked down, but he disappears, so he leaves Tatooine, and Jabba's pissed. Kenobi goes back to doing what he's doing, and Luke and his uncle... the uncle was kind of apologetic towards what he did in the previous chapter of the Kenobi Files, so now he's kind of flying the hopper around. So, it was a really good, nice issue. I really love the artwork in the book. I love the painted style.
Han Solo, issue number 1.
This was an interesting first issue. I'm debating if I might pleasure read this instead of review read it, though. Basically, Leia thinks that she knows that there are several moles in the rebellion. She wants to use Han's ship to kind of figure out who they are. Han doesn't let her do it. We get the whole backstory why, because we don't know, or Han doesn't know why. And then we find out why, and he looks like he gets thrown off the rebellion, and now he's in a space race. And things go very bad.
Well, in Han Solo's case, doesn't everything not go good?
Yeah. I thought it was a nice first issue. Again, though, I read this about a week now ago. We're doing this review a bit late, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. But it was an okay first issue.
Alright, now back to me. Deadpool issue number 14. Now, basically, from what I remember from this book, was that he's still with the whole Deadpool organization, you know, one that speaks Spanish only, the other one that does all the other things, etc., etc. So, they're on a mission where, you know, Deadpool's like, you know, this laid-back character and just, like, letting them do all the work. Like, basically, that's all I remember from the book. Like, I don't know, like, I felt it to be average, but like I said, I'm giving Deadpool one more shot, and if it's not holding me to the point where I'm going to say I'll keep it, because it's going to that downward slope, to my drop pile. But really, that's all I remember from this book, because there really wasn't anything that, like, grabbed. me. Like, it was like an average read, basically. This one, I am definitely dropping, because I cannot take this anymore. Uncanny X-Men issue number 8. I'm starting to think, what does this Apocalypse Wars tie into this? Because first of all,
Mike, this is why I said I was dropping all X-Men books until this was over.
Because first of all, Magneto wasn't in this book at all. Number one. Number two, they should call it the Archangel Wars, because that's all they focus on. They focus on the Archangel, and they say that he's the, like, almighty that can stop, like, all this from happening. We get a little bit of Phantom X and Psylocke that are having a face-off with each other, along with Monette, who is trying to look for Magneto, and they don't know where he is. So it's the whole thing of, where in the world is Magneto? Not Carmen Sandiego, just Magneto. No pun intended. But I can't with this book anymore. I really want to, but I can't. I have to get rid of this book because it's just not my... It's not interesting. So I have to get rid of it. Book of the week, digitally, has to go to Spidey, issue number 7. This book has not yet, thank God, knock wood, hasn't been a disappointment to me. Like, Spidey is like his team up with the Black Panther. Like, you know, they have their little differences in the beginning, but then they work together. And also, we have Spider-Man, we have Peter Parker, who has to tutor Flash Thompson. Now, we all know Flash is the bully of Peter Parker, and he's too about it, but then he helps him out a little bit to get good grades. And I just like the whole Spider-Man Black Panther thing, because I think of the Civil War 2 movie, you know, of all that, but they're teaming up together, actually. And it was really interesting. The next issue, though, I don't remember the cover. I think it was Electro now he meets up with.
Okay.
I think it was Electro, yeah. But all in all, a great read. This is book of the week. Has to go to Spidey. Really amazing read.
All right, we're off to the physicals. This one did not come out this week, though.
Yeah, this was a week or two ago.
Whatever
weeks ago it was. The Walking Dead issue number 155. We see that Negan has joined the Whispers group, which is something else. And starts off where Michonne is trying to aid one of the people who are hurt. And we have people who are coming in to help them. And here's some artwork, which is all in black and white. And we have Rick, who is just trying to say, you know, like everyone's, you know, like about the signs and everything, that signs or the whispers or something. Because you know it's going to lead into another war. And then we have Negan talking with Alpha, who it looks like that they're going to pick a fight with Rick. Because that's what it looks like, unless Negan has something up his sleeve. And he's just saying he has a lot to offer them. And we don't know what the offer is, unless it's just, like I said before, to kill Rick's group. Then we have Carl, who works at the Hilltop, and, you know, there's just like a whole thing of, with one of them men that now, one of Rick's groups that dies, they're just saying, like, this is just a act of war. Because they think that the Whispers were behind all this, even though they really were with the whole zombie.
So we're going into another war, basically.
So it's going to be like another war with Negan as the group, or there's going to be a twist to it. I have a funny feeling it's going to be a twist.
Probably a twist.
Yeah.
Invincible 129. Whoa. Just whoa. We find out who Eve was dating. The good news is Alan's okay. He's a healer, so he's healing. We find out who Eve was dating. And it's connected to the girl, to Alan's girlfriend, and he's a real dick, man. He is, I mean, there's no better word for it. But, okay, then we also find out about what Tharg is doing. We find out that there was a war on Earth, and Robot and, what's his name's father? I forgot his name, the father's name. But Mark's father ended up helping him and the Voltrumites, and basically, Earth finally kind of caved to Robot. There's a really mean thing with the boyfriend, too, but we won't go into that. So, basically, they go home.
Well,
What?
yeah, it was just
they go home.
center.
And Eve actually encounters the girl that did things to Mark, and they have an altercation, kind of. And Eve says something about what she did to Mark, and the father almost loses it, and Mark won't admit it. The ending, and this is not really a spoiler because it's already a week late, but the ending. It turns out that one time with Mark, not only did the woman get pregnant, but she actually had Mark's son. Mm-hmm. So Mark has an illegitimate child with somebody else. So Mark is not just a dad once now, he's a dad twice. And basically it's a rape child. But the mom was the one that forced it on Mark. Wait till when Mark finds out, man. We all called it though on Frontline. When we saw that happen, we said, watch her get pregnant. It's going to cause a huge fight between Mark and Eve. It's going to cause like a rift or something. And it's just, whoa. It's just, whoa. So this was a really great issue. I enjoyed it. There were a lot of really good moments. Tharg, there's a really good moment in the book with him. I would definitely recommend. Invincible, man. It just keeps getting better and better. Bebop and Rocksteady destroy everything. They're destroying my will to live. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's just in a funny way. So, long story short, they end up in the past, right where the series started, where the TMNT series started, with April holding the turtles in the tank and naming them all, and the turtles show up, Bebop Rocksteady show up, and they do exactly what the title says. They destroy everything. They release Slash early, they release a bunch of mutants early, all hell breaks loose. The turtles try to help out, but it turns out Splinter gets stepped on as a rat. April gets doused with the mutagen ooze, and she starts to turn into a mutant. Everything goes to hell.
April a mutant?
Yeah, the timeline just starts to skew like crazy. And basically, the turtles follow Monette into the time stream because basically, time is basically falling apart. And there's only one place for them to stop Bebop and Rocksteady, and that's where they're going next. I really want this game. The more I look at it...
What game?
This game. Shadow of the Past. It's a board game.
Oh, a board game. I thought you meant a game.
I really would like to get this. IDW's putting it out.
We have the monopoly of
I know,
TMNT.
we gotta get this game next. We gotta get it. Gotta get it, gotta buy it. Gotta buy it, gotta get it.
Okay.
And then, yes. So, we will find out what happens next time. But, man, I'm enjoying it. This is cover B. I did buy a cover A. Cover A's for the Bebop and Rocksteady comic apparently make a big, what do you call it?
Like a poster?
A mural. I'll probably end up giving these subscription titles over to my niece because she likes the Turtles.
Okay.
So, there's a use for them. This, however, subscription cover I do not regret. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 59. It's a Kevin Eastman variant, and we all know I love Kevin Eastman's art. So, I was right. But everybody saw this coming. Basically, now we got Splinter's side. While the Turtles are away and they were fighting Leatherface, we find out what happened to Splinter and what caused Aliplex and Kitsune to finally turn on Splinter. A lot of talking in the beginning, a lot of analyzing with April. Splinter and Kitsune have a huge talk, and then Kitsune basically puts her plan into motion where she takes over Aliplex, she mind controls her, she ends up getting control over a couple of the foot soldiers, and they revolt against, basically her and the foot revolt against Splinter. It becomes a humongous fight, and Aliplex ends up fighting the woman that Splinter basically put in exile, who now is back to defend her master. So Aliplex fights her, Kitsune fights Splinter, the Turtles come back, and wow, what a cliffhanger ending that was. And the girl's name was Jenica, by the way. What an ending. This was a wow ending. Because basically it gave us one extra page. So we get when the Turtles come back, and then we get like 2 extra panels right before the comic cut out. And I am really excited for the next issue because this is all building up to this moment. So now we get to see what's gonna happen next. And there was a lot of talk about Kitsune and her immortal friends, or her immortal family as well. Lots of stuff going on. I really cannot wait to see how this story ends. The fight continues in Amazing Spider-Man issue 14. Regent has taken more superheroes. Basically, he has kidnapped every single superhero except for Iron Man and Spider-Man. And also Harry figures out that Regent is Regent and sends a message over to Spider-Man about it. He gets captured. Spider-Man, Iron Man fight Regent. But unfortunately, because Regent has all of the superheroes' powers, he's basically, and villains, and because he has Miles' powers especially, he has spider abilities like the spider sense and stuff, and he's able to best both Spider-Man and Iron Man, and it says to be continued, and we all know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jane in the Iron Spider costume, which is going to be interesting because how's that going to work? Because she doesn't have spider powers, so she's not going to be able to crawl on walls or anything.
Maybe Iron Man has ways of that she can.
Maybe. It could be the suit.
I mean, he's Tony Stark. He could make anything.
This was an interesting issue, to say the least. It was interesting. Civil War issue number 2, the last Marvel.
Civil War 2 issue
Civil
2.
War 2 issue 2. Iron Man abducts Ulysses and basically wants to learn how his powers work, so basically he can turn them off. And the Inhumans take this as an act of war. Carol and the Avengers show up and basically make huge apologies. She's like, "We lost a lot of people. Please, I'm asking you, let us try. You know, let us take care of Tony. Let's not start a war, please." And she ends up going to Tony. Tony's analyzing Ulysses and trying to figure out how his brain works so he can basically stop his inhuman abilities. And the Avengers show up, and he has a vision, and that vision involves the Hulk.
Now, which Hulk?
That's what I'm gonna tell you. Apparently, a Hulk is going to go insane. It looks like he went completely batshit crazy, and kill everyone. Avengers, Inhumans, all teams. And that's where, in the end, we find out where Bruce Banner is. And it turns out that Carol ends up showing up at Bruce Banner's door. And that's where it's to be continued. I think because Ulysses had this vision, and Carol is there with Bruce Banner, she's going to do something wrong by arresting him or basically trying him before he hulks out. And in doing that, he's going to get really pissed off and find a way to Hulk out. And then he's going to turn into the Hulk, and that's when things are going to get let loose crazy. And that's when... This is why I like how Iron Man said, "Are you the cause for a lot of the future? Like, because you saw it? Or are all your visions biased?" He's like, "I never thought of that." He's like, "I did." So I like how Iron Man thinks. Not Rebirth time yet. This is DC Justice League issue number 51. This is a issue... This story takes place right after the very first story arc from Justice League. Batman brings Robin onto the team to see what it's like to be part of the Justice League, and a great crisis happens. And I love how time was breaking all the way back at the very beginning of the New 52 now. Because apparently these 3 separate entities have come from 3 separate fissures in time. So basically time is a bit broken, and we don't know why. Mammoth shows up, we got these robotic dogs, we've got, I forgot what this guy's name was, we've got, I'll get his name, give me a moment, because Wonder Woman actually ends up talking to him. Braun Wax.
Okay.
He's basically like Brainiac. He's a Kluan. And they're fighting the dogs. There's a huge fight. Robin does great. This is Dick Robin, by the way. This isn't any of the other Robins. This is Dick Grayson Robin. And he kind of deduces what's going on and how to set things right. And Cyborg ends up using his boom tube and basically sends everybody back through their own fissure in time, but one creature is still in the DC universe and is targeting Robin, and it says to be continued in Titans Rebirth number 1. And the reason Batman had Dick with him for the Justice League outing is he said one day you're going to be a member and you need to get used to that idea. You need to get used to the Justice League. He's like, "You want me to be a member one day?" He's like, "No, you're going to lead them." And I was like, yes, that's classic Batman. Yes. Wow. And this was written by Dan Abnett, by the way. I love this issue. I don't know if there'll be an issue 52. I'm almost positive there should be an issue 52. It makes no sense that there wouldn't be an issue 52. Because all the other DC comics went to 52.
We'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. But I believe there is an issue 52 if I'm not mistaken. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But either way, this is a really nice way. I guess you don't know because it says to be continued in Titans Rebirth, which we're going to get into. And really, it's not too much continued in Titans Rebirth. I believe it'll be continued in Titans itself, issue number 1.
And going into Rebirths now, we have Green Arrow, issue number 1. This Green Arrow is the right Green Arrow, actually, from the difference between that and the new 52.
And the reason I'm not doing any compare and contrast is because now the books have officially started. There's only actually one Rebirth one-shot this week.
So basically, for those of you who read the one-shot, we know that Green Arrow and Black Canary are teaming up with each other. They're going up against the Underground Men because they're causing chaos everywhere. And also, we have Amiko, who actually appears in this book with some nice artwork. And afterwards, after the whole Black Canary and Green Arrow thing, with them just going separate ways a little bit because of some stuff. They already know because I've already reviewed this on Frontline. There is a little bit about Queen's Industry that talks about business-like, so it was kind of a little bit hard to understand. We do find out Miko's character a little bit, for those of you who don't know or haven't read the New 52. So what Oliver Queen does is that he goes to this other place, and this boss has something up his sleeve from what he was talking to earlier. And he meets with Shado, Oliver Queen. But the person behind this who wants to kill Oliver Queen is Amiko. Yeah. I was shocked as well. And it says the death of Oliver Queen. Now, I've
always
seen
say that.
I know, I've been seeing that.
The death of Oliver Queen is like Doomsday used on Superman. It's just one of those things.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I think that they put the death of Oliver Queen very early. I mean, it could be like in the middle of something, but it's getting annoying because the New 52 annoyed me with hearing it 3 or 4 times at least. But really awesome book.
Green Lanterns issue number 1. Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz working together to stop this one guy who is waiting for his Red Lantern ring and apparently has killed and imprisoned tons of Red Lantern aliens. And that's when the police show up and the SWAT team show up, and then out of nowhere, because there's great rage in this town, something explodes and the Red Tower appears. And apparently Amanda Waller knows about it a bit. But anyway, Argus shows up and basically tell the Green Lanterns to stand down, especially Simon Baz, or else Amanda Waller is going to bring the entire government down on him. And then we get a moment with Atrocitus and Bleez, where he's talking about how the Red Lanterns are dying, but they're going to survive long enough. They're weak right now, but after the Red Dawn, they will get their power back. We get some personal time with Jessica. And then we go to Simon Baz, who is being confronted by Amanda Waller. She wants to know everything about the Green Lantern Corps or to hand over his ring. I love how Simon Baz is the only Green Lantern that's being discriminated against, and obviously they're doing that for a reason. And hopefully they'll, they'll change that. But he has an emerald sight. So apparently Simon Baz has something more going on. And we get to see little flashes of things to come. So we've apparently got a demon, Simon Baz possibly being dead, a guardian with the most powerful ring he's ever created, and then we got his brother, or I think it's his brother, with a Red Lantern ring. And then Jessica Cruz is calling for help, and she's going through something. There's something going on where she is at the shopping mall as well, and it ends with Atrocitus basically saying Earth will succumb to the power of the Red Dawn. To be continued. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting book. Not bad, not super amazing, but I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I'm not ready to change it from physical format. Let me put it that way. I'm enjoying it for what it's worth. Batman issue 1 starts off as any Batman issue 1 ever starts off. Basically, Batman is dealing with a problem. Some missiles went missing, and they found 2 of them, but one of them is still out there somewhere. He's talking with Inspector Gordon, and then out of nowhere, a plane gets shot down from the sky. And I love the artwork in this book, by the way. I do want to show the artwork. But man, this was a really great issue. So Batman, using his ejector seat, lands on the plane. I love how Jim Gordon's like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm on the plane." He's like, "Of course, you're on the plane." And basically Batman, using his tools, finds a way to guide the plane because the plane was going to crash right into a shopping mall. He finds a way to guide it into the sea. And this last page kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop, though. He's like, I have this... basically, it looks like Batman's going to die. And he's like, I have these messages for all the boys. Did I do my parents well? And he's like, yes, Master Bruce, you've done your parents very proud. And I'm proud of you as well. And then out of nowhere, somebody shows up and saves the plane and Batman from certain death. And apparently, it's Batman's version of Superman and Supergirl, but they're called Gotham and I believe Lady Gotham? Or Gotham Girl? Gotham Girl. And it looks like if you would take Superman and Supergirl and bootleg them for Batman. So basically, if Superman wasn't a part of Batman, or if Batman wasn't part of the DC universe, this basically, they even have the diamonds and everything.
Yeah, and they almost look like them.
Which is very weird. And they say they're from Gotham and this is our city and we're here to save it. It's like, I mean, it looks almost exactly like Superman. So I'm curious but also annoyed if they're going to create characters that look and feel exactly like other characters they already have. It's like, well, who is Gotham and...
Gotham Girl.
Gotham Girl.
Maybe they're new for the DCU.
I don't know, but it felt like Superman, Supergirl. It's going to be very interesting to see where the next issue goes. Titans Rebirth one-shot. I reviewed this on Frontline. Basically, Wally goes to Dick's apartment to try to find Dick. Dick shows up because his alarm goes off, and they have a very brief fight until he gets shocked with some type of an electrical charge that comes off Wally, and then all of a sudden Dick gets all these memories of Wally put in his head, and he's like, Wally? I know you. And then the Teen Titans the Titans basically thinking that Wally is a threat, attack Wally, and then one by one, as they get close enough to him, they get shocked, and each one has a personal memory brought out, and they all slowly but surely start to remember Wally, and that's where they finally realize, oh my God, Wally, how could we have ever forgotten you? And that's where Wally explains to them, hey, look, there's something that's going on. Basically everything he told Barry, and he's like, we need to prepare because they know I'm here, and now we've got to get ready. We've got to be ready for whatever's coming. We've got to get ready. And I love how Wally did another line. He did it in The Flash, one shot, and he did it here again. The Titans are going to figure this out together. Titans together is basically the quote for the Teen Titans. And apparently Wally's not a teenager anymore. He's back to being an adult, which is why he has the red suit. So basically this is the rebirth version of Flash 2's costume. So Wally apparently is the Flash. Because the other Wally, the one that's still a little kid, he's going to become Kid Flash and Teen Titans. So this Wally, the original DC Universe Wally, is now Flash again, just with a different costume. And I'm really excited to see where Titans are going to go. I think Titans are going to be the book I hold on to physically. The way Teen Titans look, it might be a book you hold on to physically because of Starfire and stuff. Yes, Michael is doing Teen Titans. I'm doing Titans. He's doing Teen Titans. But he might go digital. I don't know. But I know that I really enjoyed this. So the Titans remember who Wally is. And I'm wondering if Wally's going to be a catalyst. And everybody he bumps into is going to get memories back of being with him. And possibly additional memories from their past. Apparently his wife still doesn't remember him, which sucks. But he should go over there and give her a little bzz. Maybe he'll remember.
Maybe.
Give her a little bzz, Bzz,
bzz.
Yeah, exactly. Now finally we've got Superman #1. And there's not much Superman in this book. Really? Remember, this book is going to focus mostly on John Kent.
Okay.
And him becoming, obviously, the next Superboy. And it opens up with Clark over New 52 Superman's grave. He touches the ground and it starts to glow. And I don't know why I'm scared when I hear that he was told by Mr. Oz that he and his family are not what they think they are. I'm like, what does he mean they're not what they think they are? I pray that he means they think they're from a different world. Maybe that's what he means. That they're not, that they think they're from a different universe and really they're not. They're part of this universe. I love the splash page. So basically he tells Clark, I know you're never coming back, but I promise the colors will still fly. And then we get a wonderful mural of things he's done, his past, and the present. Then we go back to the mundane farm where now it's all about John Kent watching his father save the day, doing chores. he sees this bird steal his cat, and apparently John learns he has heat vision. And he does something really sad to the bird and the cat, and it looks like John basically lost control of his powers, and somebody saw him.
Oh boy.
And what happens is he goes home, and the father's like, "Oh, you did all your chores, son. You want to start using your powers? You know, we'll train a little bit. You can help me put the farm up." He's like, "No." And then they have dinner, and the girl shows up. Apparently, she's a neighbor. Her dad is very busy, but she, wanted to give a warm hello, and she gives the family milk. John doesn't take too much because I think he remembers seeing her in the field, and he just has a problem dealing with the fact that he has to keep secrets from the world, and he gets sent to his room. That's when the Trinity gets together. Batman and Wonder Woman come to Superman's door, and they have this meeting, which I guess we'll see this in Trinity issue number 1. But then they notice that John is watching from the window. And I love the last page where Clark basically opens the door and says, "Quickly and quietly, you're coming with me." I think this is where we're going to see John finally possibly getting his dual identity as Superboy or maybe Super Son. I don't know. But it's going to be really cool to see how John Kent develops into whatever character. I'm guessing he'll be a Superboy. I really do think he'd be Superboy. So it's going to be really interesting the journey he takes in this very first story arc. Also, the Eradicator is apparently supposed to show up at some point.
And look at this. Ironically, I'm wearing a Superman shirt. Look at that.
And I'm wearing one too.
Well, this has a comic of it.
So it's going to be really interesting. I like this first issue. A lot didn't go on, and obviously this first story arc is going to be a heavy focus on John Kent, and maybe it will be a focus on the family more than Superman. And Action Comics obviously will be more of a focus on Superman. But for the most part, I really enjoyed Superman issue number 1. I cannot wait for the next issue, and I'm very happy that Superman and Action Comics are doubled up.
Yep.
Trinity, unfortunately, only comes out once a month, but that's not until September, so we won't talk about it until September. And with that, that's it for this episode, guys. 3 more, which we will show the number 3 on the next review. Yep. Episodes until the big move. That's right. This comic review will be moving over to Comic Frontline.
Oh.
So we will be over on Comic Frontline, starting with episode 350. 349 will be the last episode you guys see on this channel. 350 will be over on Comic Frontline. I might, make an announcement video for episode, like a pre-show for 350 to put on here to remind you guys that it's over on Comic Frontline. But as of episode 350...
That's over on Dark Avenger.
Yeah, that's on this channel. That'll remind everybody that we're on Frontline. But from 350 on, the Dark Avenger comic book review will be exclusive to Comic Frontline. And then we will be moving Dark Avenger Live as of episode 101 over to Frontline. This channel will slowly become a vlog/streaming channel. Just a little bit of a heads up again for you guys, and I'll be mentioning this in the weeks to come as well, so you guys will know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here with us. If you have any comments, likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, feel free to comment below your thoughts about any of the books we talked about here, or any of the books you guys read that we didn't read, and any recommendations you guys would like to make. Also, as always, feel free to subscribe to this channel anyway, because there's a lot of stuff still coming. Don't forget to go subscribe to Comic Frontline. We have a new video each and every day.
And also, you're back on your 9 o'clock thing for...
That's right. Dark Avenger Live is back on its 9:05 schedule starting tomorrow. Well, this is going up Thursday morning, so starting tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we will be live at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully, we'll see all you guys out there. Till next time, everybody, thank you guys so much for being here with us. Take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys really soon in the next review.
Hey, everybody.